Hey guys, how's it going? This is Cheryl. For those of you who are not familiar with me, I am the organizer of the parent support network for autism families called Our Autism Lifestyle that's currently now on Facebook. So, excuse the very down attire. I wanted to do this quick video. I'm going to try to make it as brief as possible in regards to a post that I had on Facebook in regards to my daughter's IEP meeting. So for those of the families out there who have special needs kids, you guys know how, especially in the beginning, IEP meetings can sometimes be very nerve-wracking, I should say. It can be very intimidating, especially when there's so many people on your child's treatment team and you're not really familiar with the ins and outs of how an IEP meeting is run, especially when it's your first couple of IEP meetings, especially when it's the triennial. Or it's even intimidating when you go to these IEP meetings by yourself. Or I always encourage the families that I've trained in the past to make sure that you guys are bringing a support person with you, because it can be a little bit intimidating with these IEP meetings, because you're not sure exactly of sometimes what's being said, sometimes the terminology that they're using, so it could be a little overwhelming. So I always encourage parents to try to bring a support person with them. So one of the workshops actually that I'm going to be setting up in the near future is going to be one of the workshops that I've presented in the past when I was working as an outreach specialist and community outreach specialist, is knowing the parts of the IEP, understanding the IEP, and knowing your rights as a parent. With the IEP. We have a lot of families out there who are not utterly familiar, especially if their child was newly diagnosed, of their rights when it comes to an IEP meeting. And as far as for myself, my daughter was diagnosed 15 years ago. She'll be 18 this year. So we've had a lot of IEP meetings thus far. We just had her triennial IEP last week, and I have to say that it was really interesting. I'm not going to mention any names. I'm not going to mention what facility it is, but it's very sad when you are a less informed parent and you're going into these meetings and you're not really sure about what's being said, and you just agree basically with what they're telling you. If I didn't go into the field of what I did and I didn't do what I did for a living, I'm a behavior intervention specialist with a local agency at a day rehabilitation program, and I work with adults who have developmental disabilities. Now, I don't claim to be like a super expert and know everything, but I feel I know enough to be a really good advocate for my child. And that's one of the reasons why I went back to school to get my master's in ABA, in psychology ABA, and so that I would never go to one of these IEP meetings ever again and feel defeated and outnumbered, basically. So at my daughter's IEP meeting, there's probably maybe 7 or 8 school team members there. So I actually I believe I came with maybe 4 or 5. So whenever we have these big IEP meetings like that, I always try to match the number of people that they have on their side. Only because I feel that when you come with people who support you, who know your child, who can back you up, because sometimes it could be a little overwhelming and emotional. So if you get stuck on something, somebody else on your team, on your support team, can step in. to basically let them know how your daughter is and your child is, and what their strengths are and what helps them, because a lot of the techniques or strategies that they may be using in school may not be the same thing as what your child may be doing at home. And also, it's a different setting, right? Our children sometimes are totally different people when they're in school versus how they are at home. So it's always a good idea to always bring someone. So again, at my daughter's IEP meeting, one of the main components of her IEP meeting was the behavior plan. Now, my daughter has a behavior plan which was derived off of a functional behavior assessment. Now, when I sit here and I tell you that it's very sad that the Department of Education clearly doesn't have it in their budget to hire the professionals in this field who should be writing these behavior plans and doing these assessments, it's really a disservice to the child. It's a disservice to the child because the behaviors just continue, and the people who are writing these behavior plans are not clinical at all. Or less informed or less trained. So the template that they're trying to follow is just so messy and disorganized. A behavior plan really can be as concise as what to do to minimize or reduce the behavior from happening, an intervention to actually perform while the behavior is happening sometimes, which are active interventions, and the reactive interventions to these behaviors, the consequences. What are you doing? What are you doing to minimize this behavior? What are you doing to redirect them? So it's really can be clear cut and concise as that. And also, training replacement behaviors. I don't know who made this template and made it so confusing that honestly, I'm clinical and I read this behavior plan and this functional behavior assessment and I was confused. So I'm actually going to go ahead and organize a workshop where we are going to go over something of that nature, the FBA and the BIP in the New York City school system. And also an IEP workshop. So if you guys are interested, just post it in the comments below. These are all for my local New York City folks. For those of you who are far away or who won't be able to attend, I can attempt to stream my workshops live. We have been successful at doing so in the past, as long as we have a Wi-Fi connection. So if you're interested in that, just comment below that you're interested, and then we can go further as far as like coordinating dates and a venue. And for my families, just basically for my families too, who have IEP meetings, we always learn from each other. So, if you have a family that is a little bit less, knowledgeable than you are, I always encourage families to help each other out. I'm not going to go into too much detail about what was said at the meeting. It was just, a lot of excuses, and it was very, very, it was very tough to sit there as a parent and not get emotional. However, throughout the years, I've developed really, really tough skin to advocate for my daughter. Just in the end, I'm just so glad and so happy that my training and my experience, my education, and every aspect of what I've been through for the past 15 years has finally paid off for me to be the biggest advocate that I can possibly be for my daughter. And now I'm training my younger son, to be an advocate for her as well. And I only hope that my other sons as well, will be there for her and advocate for her and give her the best quality of life as much as possible when I'm no longer able to. So stay tuned. I'm going to update you guys more on the workshops. And again, if you're interested, just comment below that you're interested. If you like this video, please press like. Subscribe to my channel if you already haven't. And you can go ahead and share my channel. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.